Good evening. Bonsoir. Ainiwula. Salaam alaikum. Welcome to Gracie Mansion, ladies and gentlemen. Please give it up for Nkuma Katali and the Lifelong Project. Please give it up for him. My name is Famod Kone. I'm the Bronx Borough Director and the African Liaison at the Mayor's Community Affairs Unit. Yes. I want to welcome you to this wonderful gathering in celebration of Africa. I want you to know that tonight is to celebrate the contribution, the accomplishment, the history, and the rich culture of the African community in the city of New York, your city. And to start off this wonderful gathering tonight, it is a deep honor and a pleasure to present to you the 109th mayor of the city of New York, my mayor, your mayor, Bill de Blasio.
Welcome to Gracie Mansion, everyone. For the first ever in the history of New York City, the first ever Gracie Mansion celebration of the African communities of New York City. There are two kinds of people. There are two kinds of people. The people who are at this party and everybody else. Now, I have to say, I've been at many wonderful events, but rarely have I seen an event where our wonderful MC, let's thank Famoud, by the way, for the great work he does for this city. He represents me so well in the Bronx, but he also is someone that African communities are so proud of and so connected to. But I've rarely been at an event where the host greets people in a variety of languages and everyone seems to speak all of the languages. Very impressive. Very impressive. I want to tell you that I have had the joyous experience of going through the great communities of this city and seeing the vibrancy of the African communities and neighborhoods, and seeing how many wonderful people are now a part of the fabric of this city. I also want you to know that I have had an experience that all Americans really should have. If they want to understand America, they have to visit Africa. And when Shirlane and I became parents, we made a vow to each other that we would take our children to each of their homelands so they could understand, not just from books or movies, but they could understand by being there. And about 6, 7 years ago, we took our children to Ghana and had an extraordinary experience. And they understood through one nation only, and there are so many wonderful nations, but they understood just a beginning of the greatness of the African continent and the people who make it great. I also have to say to you that wherever I go around New York City, I have a very humbling experience. Many times I'm standing there with our First Lady and people walk by me because they want to meet her. And then eventually they come back to me and say hello. So I don't mind being with someone more popular. She's always been the most popular person to me, so I understand it. But I want you to know our First Lady salutes everyone here. She is on her way back from Washington, D.C., and she wanted to be a part of this event, and she will be going forward because this is the first annual event. We're going to work together to make it an annual event. But she has been today in Washington fighting for the mental health needs of all New Yorkers and all Americans. So I bring you her greetings, and I am her inadequate surrogate. But I will do the best I can. I have a few things to say very quickly. But thank you so much. The love is returned. But I want to tell you that so many members of my administration, the people who serve this city and serve all of the communities present here, they wanted to be a part of this. And I am going to shout out their names, and I want you to hear them all and applaud them all because they do such good work for our city. Starting with, thank you, starting with the top lawyer for the City of New York, my corporation counsel, Zachary Carter. Our commissioner, something near and dear to many people here, our commissioner for small business services, Greg Bishop. Our community affairs commissioner, Marco Carrion. International affairs commissioner, Penny Abiwardena. A man you're glad is there when there's an emergency, our emergency management commissioner, Joe Esposito. Our oath commissioner, Fidel Del Valle. Commissioner of an office that does such important work, and it's just been renamed, the Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence. Commissioner Cecile Noel. Director of and Chair of the City Planning Commission, Marissa Lago. My senior advisor and the director of our Office for Minority and Women-Owned Businesses, Janelle Doris, who is making sure that millions and millions and millions of dollars go to businesses in all the communities of this city. Elected officials and soon-to-be elected officials. First, State Senator Kevin Parker of Brooklyn. And next, a dear friend of mine who we served in the City Council together, and now he is on his way to the New York State Senate. In the City Council, he was the first Muslim member of the City Council in the history of New York City. And one of the greatest advocates for our public school students in all of New York State, soon-to-be State Senator Robert Jackson. And another soon-to-be elected official. He is the Democratic nominee for Assembly from Staten Island. When he is elected, he will be the first African Wow. You're popular. Come on. Come on. You know, for a lot of communities, it takes generations and generations to get to high office. But the African communities are speeding up the clock. Soon to be Assembly Member Charles Fall. We've got a lively crowd tonight. Everybody, we've got a lot to celebrate, but I need to say something. While we are celebrating, while we're feeling such joy about the greatness of these communities and the recognition that these communities are finally getting, we have some sorrow that we have to address tonight as well. And I want to give my heart out particularly to members of the Nigerian community here. On Friday, thank you. On Friday, this last Friday, We had something happen that we never, ever want to see in any neighborhood, in any city, anywhere, when we lost a good young man. Alua Duratimi Oyebola, a young man, 16 years old, who loved to learn. He loved math, he loved science, he wanted to be a doctor. He was just a young man playing basketball, and he was shot and killed for no reason whatsoever. And I know his family is in pain, I know the Nigerian community is in pain, and all New Yorkers. So, on behalf of all 8.6 million New Yorkers, my condolences to the Oyebola family and to the community, and I ask you all for one moment, amidst our celebration, just one moment, a moment of silence for this good young man we lost. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Now, the good news is there is always good news in the world too. And a very good thing for New York City and a very good thing for America is that here before me are representatives of one of the fastest growing immigrant groups in this city, and we are so proud of that fact. Over 50 nations of Africa are now represented in New York City, with all the joy, the energy, the prosperity, the entrepreneurship, the creativity, all making this city better. And it's not just one part of the city or another part of the city. If you go to central Harlem, you're in an African community. If you go to Clifton in Staten Island, you're also in an African community. If you go to Concourse Village in the Bronx, you're definitely in an African community. In fact, to all the Bronxites, you constitute one of the largest African communities in all of America. Now, look around you. Look around you. You see people of great ability, people of great intelligence, people who make us stronger. Don't you think that's what leaders should be saying about people who contribute to all of us? But brothers and sisters, is that what we're hearing from Washington, D.C. right now? And I think it's not only wrong, it's not only sad, it's destructive to hear leaders of a nation denigrate our own people. Our own people. And I will tell you, as the grandson of immigrants, maybe it's some solace, maybe somehow it might make you feel a little better to know, somehow in the American experience, every new wave of immigrants gets singled out for this same unfortunate treatment. I could dare say that people of African descent have borne some of the worst. But I can tell you that somehow in this country we still haven't figured out that all the negativity that was heaped upon Chinese Americans or Irish Americans or Italian Americans or Jewish Americans or Latino Americans, now heaped upon people who've come from Africa, it's all got the same root. Something in America that we have to extract and remove and end once and for all to finally live up to our ideals as a country. Because we can't hate our brother and sister and be a whole nation, can we? So tonight, we get the situation right. Tonight, we turn the tables. We right the ship. And I say, as mayor of the greatest city in the United States of America, thank you. Thank you for joining us. You know, a lot of people find it fashionable politically to blame our ills as a country on immigrants. Here's what I say to them, because I I have a city that is the proof positive that immigrants can make us stronger and that we can all actually get along. Right here, we prove it every day. So this city has the most immigrants it has had in 100 years right here in New York City today. We are the safest big city in America. We have the strongest economy we have ever had. We have the most jobs we have ever had. We are strong not despite immigrants, but because of immigrants. So next time you hear a hater, next time you hear a divider, next time you hear someone who's confused, tell them, come to New York City, we will set you straight. Now, everybody, this is the first annual gathering, as I said, and what we do at all these gatherings for each community is we have an honoree. Well, this is the inaugural honoree, and she is someone very, very special. When you think of what people who have come from Africa and have brought their great skills and talents here, I'm going to tell you her story because it's so powerful. She was born and raised in Lesotho, and she came here and brought her gifts and has become a Tony-nominated singer, an actress, a composer. If you love Broadway, you might know her as the originator of the role of Rafiki in The Lion King. If you believe in good causes and humanitarian works, you would know that she created and ran her own foundation to fight AIDS in South Africa. And if you're a student of history, you will know she was invited by Nelson Mandela to be the sole performer at his first press conference after he was released from prison. Someone who has earned acclaim all around the world for her talents. It's my honor to bring forward Sidi Leloka. And she's wearing a very elaborate dress, so it takes time to come here. Right here. Sidi. When we honor someone, we don't just invite them to a party. We don't just invite them to speak. We give them a true New York honor. So I have here a proclamation for you. And this proclamation proclaims and explains the amazing works of this artist and this humanitarian. But the best part is the final lines, which I get to say because of this office that I've been bestowed with. And it says, now, I, Bill de Blasio, Mayor of the City of New York, proclaim Wednesday, September 26, 2018, in the City of New York as Sidi Leloka Day. Ladies and gentlemen, give your warm, warm welcome for Sidi Leloka. You can have this step if you like.
Thank you. Sensing an Ay, babo, chia, them home, whoa, 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 G-I-O, G-I-O, whoa, 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 G-I-O, G-I-O. Thank you. With very sincere thanks to Honorable Mayor Bill de Blasio and First Lady Charlene McRae for your very warm and welcome to Gracie Mansion, a home of history and host home to President Nelson Mandela on his first visit to New York City. I feel embraced by the spirit of history and celebration in this year of his 100th birthday. I thank you for this very great honor that accepts the work of my heart and art. For me, there is no mission more rewarding than the contribution of service for the betterment of our world. Thank you to Mayor de Blasio and his team for the very notable service and achievements on behalf of our city. And thanks to you, the community, for all you do and the commitment it takes to do it. Greetings to all of you out there, greetings. From a span of time and history that knows no dividing boundaries across rivers and continents. From the snowy mountains of Lesotho, where I was born to my mother and father, to the lights and darkness and chaos of South Africa's big city, Johannesburg, I was born to a rich heritage and the music of a crying nation. But blessed by it all, I was invited by Miss Makeba to perform with her on her first concert back to South Africa after nearly 30 years of exile. And I was overjoyed to be a part of a triumphant moment of nations in song. I found myself in New York City on the first-time visit. And on one sizzling hotter than Gabon day, I was taken to a studio by a music producer in a hell-raising, speeding taxi cab to meet South African trumpeter Mr. Hugh Masekela, and got my first gig on the spot. We put down our voices on the demo tracks of Eyes on Tomorrow, what was to become Miriam Makeba's comeback album and collaboration with Nina Simone and Dizzy Gillespie. I then went back to South Africa and returned to the United States a year later to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and was welcomed by the greats Mr. Max Roach, Mr. Yusuf Lateef, and Mr. Archie Shepp, and simultaneously continued with my artistic adventures. My first introduction to the New York stage was with the invitation of Mr. Harry Belafonte, who had for decades shared his stage and championed the spirit and cultures of the African diaspora and beyond. It was upon exceptional shoulders I stood then and stand now. The aspirations and hopes of those who came before us, sharing the vibrancy of their cultures, advocating for stories and struggles known and not well known, were vital and important to the future of our world. My thoughts today, with deep gratitude and humble acceptance, are on the womb of time, giving us this day of connection and belonging to New York City. The children of the African heritage span the world from here and now to the beginning of time. After all, she's the mother of us all. My hope is that the sustainable element we get from this day be to celebrate the wealth and vitality of heritage without losing our universality, and that we extend and strengthen the bond with our extended family and world around us, and continue to offer something of healing and beauty. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this great honor and validation. Let me get them to sing. Just one more. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Can we sing together?
Yes.
Can we sing together, people? If you don't know this song, then we need to talk about history. Right? And for those who don't, I have to pray for you. I will start, you will sing. What did I say? I will start and you promise. Sakukuga sakutega. Stop for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no singing without a little bit of movement. We've got to get it a little bit in there, right? I want to see you move. Just a little second. Hey, sakukuga sakutega nasi. Hey, sakukuga sakutega. Hey, sakukuga sakutega. Oh, sakukuga sakutega. Hey, mama, here, mama, here, mama, nasi. Pada, pada, here, mama, here. Helele, mama, here, mama, here, mama, nasi. Pada, pada, here, mama. Helele, oh, sakukuga sakutega. Oh, sakukuga sakutega. Helele, sakukuga sakutega. Helele, sakukuga sakutega. Helele, mama, here, mama, here, mama, nasi. Pada, pada, here, mama, here, mama. Pada, pada, here, mama, here, mama. Pada, pada, here, mama. Helele, sakukuga sakutega. Ala, sakukuga sakutega. Hey, sakukuga sakutega. Helele, sakukuga. Helele, mama, here, mama, here, mama. Ala, mama, here, mama, here, mama. Hele, mama, here, mama, here, mama. Hey, ada, pada, here, mama. Helele, sakukuga. Thank you so much.
Let's give a huge round of applause. Sini Leiloka. I think Gracie Mansion is now an African nation. Well done, and congratulations for this honor you so richly deserve. And everyone, thank you again for celebrating together. Thank you for all you do for New York City. And we will see you again next year for an even bigger party. Thank you.